Most survival pantries are loaded with foods that won't save you. They'll betray you. Some even turn toxic in less than a year. In a blackout or disaster, the wrong choice could mean sickness, wasted money, and no backup when your family needs strength the most. That's why today, I'm revealing 7 popular survival foods that could destroy your prep, and the 2 simple staples that will keep you alive no matter how long the crisis lasts. So let's begin with the snack most people trust for quick energy. Yet, it crumbles into poison the moment you need it most. Number 7. Granola bars. Sarah reaches for her emergency pack 3 days into the power outage that's left her neighborhood in complete darkness. The granola bar crumbles in her hands like sawdust, releasing a sharp smell that burns her nostrils, like paint thinner mixed with rotten nuts. She's just discovered why experienced preppers avoid this perfect survival food that promises convenience but delivers disaster. The problem isn't the expiration date printed on the wrapper. It's what happens to the oils and fats inside those bars over time. The nuts, seeds, and binding oils in granola bars contain polyunsaturated fats that oxidize rapidly when exposed to air, light, and temperature changes, creating rancid compounds that smell like chemicals or industrial solvents. Granola bars expire faster than most people realize, and when they go bad, they don't just become unpalatable, they become dangerous. Rancidity occurs when fats and oils in the bar break down, often resulting in an unpleasant taste and smell that can cause severe digestive issues. Consuming rancid granola bars can trigger nausea, stomach cramps, and diarrhea. Exactly what you can't afford when your body needs maximum nutrition during a crisis. Here's the part that catches most preppers off guard. Even properly stored granola bars only maintain quality for 6 to 8 months past their printed date, far shorter than other survival foods. Compare this to white rice, which can last 30 years when stored correctly, or canned goods that remain safe for decades. The texture tells the survival story. Fresh granola bars stay crunchy and hold together when you grip them. Spoiled ones become soggy, break apart easily in your hands, and develop an unmistakable bitter, cardboard-like taste that coats your mouth. But here's where the granola bar trap gets truly dangerous. These failing snacks create a false sense of security in your emergency preparations. You think you're covered for quick energy and portable nutrition, but when crisis strikes, you discover your reliable food source has become inedible waste that could cost you everything when the lights go out and help isn't coming. Number 6. Brown rice. Tom's been rotating his brown rice supply religiously for 2 years, checking dates and replacing stock like a seasoned prepper. What he doesn't know is that his healthy choice just became a ticking time bomb in his basement storage room, and his family's survival plan is about to crumble from a single misguided decision about rice selection. Brown rice contains both the bran and germ layers of the grain, which are sources of polyunsaturated fat that make it exponentially more prone to rancidity than white rice. While white rice can last decades when stored properly with oxygen absorbers, brown rice keeps for only 3 months in the pantry, up to 6 months in the refrigerator, or maximum 1 year in the freezer, completely inadequate for serious emergency food storage. For long-term survival food storage, preppers should never use brown rice because it will go rancid within 12 months from its natural oils, regardless of storage method. The healthy oils that make brown rice nutritionally superior become its survival downfall. When these oils break down through oxidation, they create chemical compounds that aren't just unpalatable. They can make you violently sick when you can least afford illness or weakness. The cruel irony hits deep. Most preppers choose brown rice thinking they're making the nutritious choice for their families during hard times. But survival food experts unanimously recommend white rice for emergency storage precisely because it lacks the oils that cause brown rice to spoil. The processing that removes nutrients also removes the elements that destroy shelf life. Here's the reality check that shatters brown rice dreams. White rice provides 1,568 calories per pound and can last 30 years when properly stored in sealed containers with oxygen absorbers, while brown rice becomes rancid animal feed within 12 months maximum. The nutritional advantage disappears completely when the food becomes inedible. And here's the financial gut punch. Brown rice costs more than white rice up front, meaning you're paying premium prices for food that will fail when you need it most. Smart preppers understand that survival trumps nutrition when your family's life hangs in the balance. Number 5. Nuts and seeds in bulk. Maria thought she was brilliant, buying 50 pounds of mixed nuts and seeds from the wholesale club for her survival caching. 6 months later, her entire storage room reeks of rancid oil that penetrates everything, and she's learned the most expensive lesson about bulk food storage that costs beginners thousands of dollars and years of preparation. Nuts high in polyunsaturated fats are particularly susceptible to rancidity, and chopped or processed nuts oxidize much more rapidly than whole nuts because damaged surfaces expose oils to air. The problem multiplies exponentially when you buy bulk quantities that can't possibly be consumed before the natural oils turn rancid and potentially dangerous. The natural oils in nuts and seeds become rancid over time, especially when exposed to heat, light, and air, affecting both taste and nutritional value in ways that make them unfit for consumption. Fresh nuts and seeds are excellent sources of protein and healthy fats for survival situations, but only when stored correctly, ideally in refrigeration or freezing temperatures that most emergency storage situations can't maintain. Room temperature storage accelerates rancidity exponentially, turning your expensive protein investment into unusable waste within months. But here's what most bulk buying preppers completely miss. Rancid nuts don't just taste awful. They can cause severe digestive distress and food poisoning when your immune system is already compromised by crisis stress and your body desperately needs maximum nutrition. Store whole nuts in completely sealed containers with oxygen absorbers. Buy only quantities you can rotate through your regular family diet, and focus on nuts with lower oil content and longer natural shelf life. Because nothing announces failed prepper quite like a storage room filled with rancid emergency protein that endangered your family's health instead of sustaining it. We've covered a lot already, but the most dangerous products are still ahead. If you're finding this useful, subscribe now so you'll always have the survival tips you need when it matters most. Number 4. Canned goods with dents and damage. Jake scored what seemed like the deal of a lifetime on dented cans at the military surplus store. 50% off retail prices on cases of vegetables, meats, and soups seemed too good to pass up. What he brought home wasn't a bargain. It was potential death sentences sitting innocuously on his storage shelves, waiting for the moment his family needed them most. Deep dents in canned goods often create sharp stress points that can damage the internal seam and allow deadly bacteria to enter the sterile environment. The USDA provides crystal clear guidance. Discard any can with a deep dent on any seam immediately. And a deep dent is specifically defined as one deep enough that you can lay your finger into the depression. But dents represent just the beginning of the danger zone lurking in damaged canned goods. Bulging cans indicate serious temperature problems during storage or active bacteria growth inside the sealed environment. Either scenario means the contents have become potentially lethal and must never be consumed under any circumstances. Leaking cans present immediate contamination risks as the compromised seal allows harmful bacteria to enter and multiply rapidly in the nutrient-rich environment. Once the sterile seal is broken, the safety that makes canned goods reliable for decades disappears within hours or days. Here's the part that terrifies survival food experts. While extremely rare in commercial canned goods, the toxin produced by Clostridium botulinum bacteria causes deadly botulism food poisoning that can kill healthy adults within days. The botulism bacteria thrive in anaerobic conditions without oxygen, making incorrectly processed or damaged canned foods ideal breeding grounds for this lethal toxin. Botulism doesn't change the appearance, smell, or taste of contaminated food, making it impossible to detect without laboratory testing. Victims experience muscle paralysis starting with blurred vision and difficulty swallowing, progressing to respiratory failure and death without immediate medical intervention. Medical care that won't be available during the crisis when you're relying on stored food. When you compromise on damaged cans to save money, you're gambling with your family's lives at the exact moment you can't afford to lose that bet. Number 3. Food stored in non-food grade containers. Lisa thought she was being resourceful and economical reusing those sturdy detergent buckets for storing her family's rice supply. They looked identical to expensive food storage containers and cost nothing. 20 years later, she's still laughing about the most expensive rice lesson of her prepping life and how dangerously close her family came to eating soap-flavored survival food during their practice emergency. Using non-food grade containers represents one of the most common and potentially dangerous food storage mistakes that beginner preppers make repeatedly. Even after several thorough washes with hot soapy water and no immediately detectable odor remaining, stored rice in a repurposed detergent bucket developed a terrible chemical taste and became completely inedible waste that threatened food security. The industrial chemicals that once held cleaning products, pesticides, or other toxic substances seep deeply into porous plastic materials, contaminating your carefully selected food with dangerous compounds never intended for human consumption. These chemicals can cause illness, organ damage, or worse when consumed over time. Food-grade containers are specifically manufactured without toxic additives, using plastic formulations that won't leach harmful chemicals into stored food even over decades of contact. Regular plastic buckets, industrial containers, garbage cans, and repurposed chemical containers often contain BPA, phthalates, industrial dyes, and other toxic compounds that migrate into food gradually. Proper food-grade storage containers with tight-fitting lids are absolutely essential for long-term storage success and family safety. The minimal cost difference between food-grade and regular containers becomes insignificant compared to losing entire batches of expensive survival food or poisoning your family when they're depending on you most. Chemical contamination from improper containers doesn't just affect taste. It can cause serious illness when immune systems are already stressed by crisis conditions and medical care isn't available. Symptoms can include nausea, diarrhea, liver damage, and neurological problems. The cruel irony burns deep. Most dedicated preppers invest hundreds or thousands of dollars in premium long-term storage food, then destroy their entire investment and endanger their families with a $20 container mistake that could have been easily avoided with basic knowledge. Number 2. Cereal and breakfast bars. Jennifer's pantry overflows with colorful boxes of cereal and breakfast bars, her family's go-to breakfast foods that seem perfect for emergency storage. 2 years later, she opens a box to find soggy flakes that smell like rancid cardboard and crumble at her touch. She's discovered why processed breakfast foods become survival nightmares that destroy your emergency plans. The fundamental problem with storing cereal lies in its high oil content and processing methods. Most cereals contain preservatives that break down over time, oils that turn rancid, and refined ingredients that attract moisture and pests. Cereal flakes, granola clusters, and breakfast bars all contain nuts, seeds, and processed oils that oxidize rapidly when exposed to air and temperature fluctuations. Cereal's shelf life varies dramatically based on oil content. Simple grain cereals like Corn Flakes last longer than granola-style cereals packed with nuts and seeds. But even basic cereals become stale, lose nutritional value, and develop off flavors within 6 to 8 months of opening, making them unreliable for long-term storage. Here's where breakfast bars become particularly dangerous. They combine the worst aspects of multiple problematic ingredients. The binding agents, nuts, dried fruits, and preservatives create a perfect storm of spoilage factors. When breakfast bars go bad, they don't just become unpalatable. They can harbor mold growth that's invisible to the naked eye. The moisture content in breakfast bars makes them susceptible to bacterial and fungal growth, especially in humid storage conditions. Unlike truly shelf-stable foods, these processed items require climate-controlled storage that most families can't maintain during extended power outages or emergency situations. Smart preppers avoid the cereal trap entirely, focusing on simple grains like oats that can be stored properly for decades rather than processed breakfast foods that fail within months and leave families hungry when it matters most. Number 1. Bulk wheat without proper grinding equipment. Dave's garage holds 300 pounds of wheat berries stored in food-grade buckets, enough grain to theoretically feed his entire family for a full year if properly utilized. There's just one catastrophic problem that transforms his impressive stockpile into a cruel survival joke. He has absolutely no practical way to turn those rock-hard wheat kernels into edible flour, and his family is about to learn why wheat storage without grinding capability represents the ultimate prepper fantasy. Bulk wheat storage attracts beginning preppers because wheat offers impressive statistics. Nearly unlimited shelf life when stored properly with oxygen absorbers, excellent nutritional profiles with complete proteins when combined with legumes, and cost-effectiveness that seems unbeatable per pound of stored calories. If wheat hasn't been treated to prevent insect hatching, it can be treated during storage by placing 1/4 pound of dry ice per 5-gallon container before sealing. But even perfectly stored, pest-free wheat becomes completely worthless without the specialized equipment to process those hard kernels into usable flour. Many grains require grinding before consumption, and while some health food stores sell hand-cranked grain mills, most preppers never invest in this essential equipment until it's too late. Here's the brutal reality that most wheat storage preppers eventually face. If you're caught without a proper mill during crisis conditions, you can attempt grinding grain by filling a large can 1 inch deep with wheat berries and pounding them with a hard metal object like a steel pipe. Try feeding a hungry family using that primitive method during a real emergency situation. Quality hand-cranked grain mills that can process wheat cost several $100s and require specific features. Make sure any mill you buy can also grind corn and other grains your family might need. But even the best hand-cranked mills require significant physical effort and time. grinding enough flour for a family's daily bread consumption takes hours of exhausting, continuous manual labor. Raw wheat berries represent the ultimate survival food paradox. Theoretically perfect nutrition profiles and exceptional storage longevity, but completely useless without expensive tools most families don't own and labor-intensive skills they've never practiced under stress. After counting down 7 popular foods that fail catastrophically when you need them most, here are the 2 time-tested combinations that seasoned preppers stake their lives on. And exactly why they'll keep your family alive and healthy when everything else falls apart around you. Number 1. White rice and beans combination. Meet the undisputed power couple of survival food storage that has sustained entire civilizations for thousands of years. While other trendy foods fail from complexity, spoilage, or preparation problems, this legendary combination has kept humans alive through famines, wars, and natural disasters across every continent. White rice provides approximately 1,560 calories per pound and contains roughly 90% carbohydrates, making it one of the absolute best survival foods for sustained energy and endurance. When stored properly in food-grade containers with oxygen absorbers and moisture control, white rice can maintain nutritional value and remain completely safe for 30 years or more. Dried beans contain 35% protein, the highest protein content of any seed crop available to civilians, and 14% healthy fats, providing the essential nutrients that rice completely lacks. But here's the survival magic that makes this combination legendary. Consuming rice and beans together provides all essential amino acids that create complete protein your body cannot produce independently. This nutritional completeness means rice and beans can theoretically sustain human life indefinitely when supplemented with basic vitamins. Many populations worldwide have survived primarily on this combination for generations, proving its effectiveness beyond theoretical calculations. The storage economics are compelling for families on any budget. With a combined food cost of approximately $58, you can store a 50-day food reserve providing 2,000 calories daily for one person. A 20-pound bag of white rice costs $8 to $10 at warehouse stores, while 30 pounds of dried beans costs approximately $50 when bought in bulk. Even aged beans that won't soften through regular boiling can be made completely edible using pressure cookers or extended cooking methods. The combination provides complete nutrition, costs less than $2 per day per person, and requires only basic cooking skills any family member can master. This isn't gourmet dining. It's proven survival insurance that works every single time when lives depend on stored food. Number 2. Pure salt and raw honey. While other foods spoil, degrade, require complex preparation, or demand expensive equipment, these 2 simple ingredients last forever and serve multiple survival functions that extend far beyond basic nutrition, making them invaluable for any serious emergency preparation. Pure salts without chemical additives, such as pink Himalayan salt and sea salt, possess indefinite shelf life and countless survival applications that make them indispensable. You can use salt to cure and preserve meat without refrigeration, extend fresh milk's usable life, maintain proper electrolyte balance during physical stress, and stay properly hydrated when clean water is scarce. Salt functions as much more than simple flavoring. It becomes a complete preservation system, essential medical tool, and valuable trading commodity combined into one affordable storage item. During extended survival situations, salt becomes absolutely critical for replacing electrolytes lost through physical exertion, stress, and potential illness when your body needs maximum function. Some salts containing additives like iodine have reduced shelf life of approximately 5 years due to chemical breakdown, so choose pure varieties for maximum storage longevity. But pure salt stored in moisture-proof containers literally lasts forever and maintains its properties indefinitely. Pure raw honey contains no expiration date and can last indefinitely when stored properly in sealed containers, making it the perfect addition to any survival pantry. Honey serves not only as a natural sweetener and immediate energy source, but also possesses powerful antimicrobial and antibacterial properties that make it invaluable during medical emergencies. Here's what makes honey completely irreplaceable during crisis situations. Raw honey provides instant energy for physical and mental function, soothes painful sore throats and coughs, can help preserve other foods through its natural antimicrobial action, and serves as an antiseptic treatment for wounds when modern medical supplies aren't available. When everything else in your carefully planned survival cache fails, spoils, becomes inedible, or requires equipment you don't have, salt and honey will still be there, ready to preserve your food, heal your family's wounds, and keep bodies functioning when the modern world stops working. Preparing for emergencies isn't about fear. It's about being smart. Now you know what to avoid and what to keep. You're already ahead of most households. If you want more tips on safe, practical preparedness, hit that subscribe button. I'll keep bringing you the tools and knowledge that make your family stronger.